These boots are a collaboration between Deluxe, a snowboard boot brand, and Earth, a company that makes skate shoes. Doesn't it look like Kenita's bike? I saw it and was like, wow, that's so cool. I fell in love with it at first sight. I wanted to be able to step outside barefoot, so I built this bike. Hello, please come in. Hi, I'm Shota Namba. I'm a paint artist. This is my hometown, and I rented this place not so much to live alone, but because I wanted a studio space. I really love this area. It's close to the river, surrounded by nature, and has such a peaceful vibe. Living in the city can be exhausting, so coming back here feels refreshing. That's why I decided to rent a house in my hometown. My theme is to avoid sticking to one genre. I want to incorporate some American vibes while keeping the feel of this place, which is like a traditional Japanese single-story house. I like the idea of it being a bit messy, but still feeling cohesive overall. I've always been into board sports. I started with skateboarding, and that same year in winter, after about 10 years of skiing, my parents suggested, "Why don't you try snowboarding?" That's how I got started. At first I couldn't get the hang of it, but after working hard, I ended up getting hooked. Through snowboarding, I've made so many connections, and now it's a major part of my life. It's the core of my lifestyle. Last season, I spent almost 3 months in the mountains. This is a lamp I made during a university class. My major was product design, so I worked on projects like creating lamps. Originally, I entered the program because I wanted to design stationery. I've always liked it. But over time, I realized that drawing is more enjoyable and suits me better. In the end, I spend most of my time drawing. Having plants around makes me feel more relaxed. It's nice to have greenery both inside and outside the house. I often choose things based on their appearance, like this plant. I don't even know its name, but I thought it was cute. That's pretty much how I pick most things. If I like it, I get it. I don't really care about brands or labels. Oh, this is a piece we painted together as a group of 3, and you can see our signatures on the back. This one is mine, and this one is from Ryo Sejiri, the guy who did the commentary at the Olympics. You know, the one who said Gonzeme and Bita Bita. And the third is from Sarah, a female skater who also does photography and lettering. The idea was super spontaneous. We just thought, why don't the 3 of us try painting something together? And started with, who's going to draw the first line? It all came together like this, and we probably spent about 4 hours on it in total. I got this cigarette case as a gift. You know Kati? It's a brand run by a girl named Kati. I think she might be an idol. I've never actually used it, but I'm displaying it since it was a gift. Don't you think it has a bit of a gal vibe? It might feel a bit out of place for me, but honestly, I think I can pull it off. This board is for off-season training, used for practicing jumps onto air mats. The edges have been rounded for safety, and over here is a fishing rod. I enjoy fishing too, so I often fish in the nearby river. They're a bit dirty, but these boots are a collaboration between Deluxe, a snowboard boot brand, and RF, a company known for making skate shoes. I'd never tried this type of boot before, but I ended up buying them. This past winter, I wore them pretty much non-stop. They're really cool and have become one of my favorites. This is mainly a spot where my friends sit and chat. Originally, the whole space was open, but I decided to limit smoking to just this area since it was getting a bit smoky. Both the chair and the locker here are from Dalton. I'd wanted this locker for ages, and when I visited Dalton, they happened to have it on sale. Normally, it costs around 70,000 yen, and I thought there's no way I'm spending that much. But the staff at Dalton were really kind, and I finally managed to get it. It was a bit of a struggle to fit it in here though. I'm a big fan of Akira. In fact, this is my first tattoo inspired by it. I even wrote the lettering for it myself. It says, "Art is necessary for health." And I also have an Akira poster up in the bathroom. This fridge is a tribute to Hayato Nagasawa, a professional snowboarder. He's like a younger brother to me. And this one here, Rio drew it, right? This one is something I drew. Oshi is a snowboarding film team run by a friend of mine. Everyone in the team is a rider, and even this rat is part of the snowboarding vibe. These guys include Hayato, Kaishu, and Ayumu Hirano's younger brother. There's Kaishu, Aito, and 4 others in total. I think a lot of people might recognize this guy. He's always the one lining up for Apple products. You know the guy with the mohawk who says, "I have to ride this big wave"? He's the one who often goes viral. That's him. Butch is also part of this crew. This one here is from Amazon. I got the socket on Amazon and the bulb doesn't get hot. It's an LED, designed to look like a filament style bulb. Honestly, Amazon has the best prices. I feel like if I say this, everyone's gonna buy it. Haha. They come in a pack of 5 for around 2,000 to 2,500 yen, which is probably the cheapest you'll find anywhere. It feels like a proper hangout spot where lots of friends come over. Isn't that great? Oh, and those are everyone's toothbrushes. When my friends visit, they just leave their toothbrushes here. Also, having a speaker up high is definitely the way to go. The sound quality is so much better when it's elevated. This speaker is from IKEA, part of a collaboration they did with Sonos, which I think is the speaker brand. This artwork is a poster from this season by Green, a brand that makes snowboarding wear. When I saw it, I thought, this is awesome. It's so cute. There are mushrooms running as if they're racing, and one of them is casually doing yoga in the middle of it all. The mix of absurdity and charm makes it so unique. Every time I look at it, I notice new details. And that's what makes this poster truly amazing. It's like a little world of its own. When I first rented this place, this room was the cleanest. I initially planned to make it my living space, but it ended up as something else entirely. Then it hit me. Wait, there's no AC in this room. It was unbearably hot, but I decided to push through and build the entire room myself. I put up the walls and laid the floor all on my own. Well, in the end, it turned into a closet. I think it took me about 2 weeks to complete this room. The wall panels weren't new, they were all scrap pieces. Each panel was a different size and shape, so I measured every single one carefully. Since I wanted to work late into the night, I ended up cutting them all by hand with a saw. But honestly, considering the circumstances, I think it turned out pretty well. This cooler box is an old one my dad used to use. The sleeping bag, a Coleman, is also from him. These are all part of my dad's old camping gear. As for the heater, it's absolutely essential in the winter because it gets super cold in this room, down to around 2 degrees. Unlike the other rooms which have air conditioning, this one doesn't, so a heater is a must. This heater was originally silver, but I painted it green and added some silk screening to give it a bit of a cute, customized look. This isn't from this season. It's the one I rode in the previous season. Doesn't it look like Kanita's bike? I saw it and thought, whoa, that's so cool, and ended up buying it on the spot. It rode amazingly well. He's a brand called Sims. Man, I'm such a huge fan of Ko. I love him so much that I even got the same tattoo as him. Simple as that. If I didn't wrap them, the covers would start falling over and curling up. It made me so sad that I decided to start wrapping them. I wear a lot of different styles, so I have clothes from all sorts of genres. I enjoy mixing it up, but my base style is mostly streetwear. Sometimes I'll incorporate a bit of American casual style too. I wear both wide and slim pants. Not entirely whatever I want, but close. I stick to straight cuts at minimum, but I also wear really wide pants. These ones are my most worn, and I even thought about wearing them again today. These are from Story MFG, a brand known for its hand-dyeing process, and I absolutely love both the shape and the colors. Since I'm a big fan of blue, it was love at first sight. These are from the 40s, you know. They're pretty beat up, but that's to be expected for something from the 40s. That friend of mine started an online brand called epicis.vintage, which is kind of like a vintage clothing store, and he sourced this from there. I've been using this all the time. Just this, over and over. This is a Budweiser raincoat. I got it as a gift. This price tag is from when I held a flea market in my garden. 3,000 yen. If anyone wants it, feel free to take it. I don't drink alcohol, so if you're someone who can enjoy Budweiser, please wear this to a festival. Thanks. This is tattoo ink. Empty ink bottles. I thought I might be able to use them for drawing, so I got them from a tattoo artist. I get almost all my tattoos done by the same artist except for my first one. His name is Takuya. Right now he's with a studio called Inscribed Tattoo in Ueno. Takuya, the guy with dreadlocks, he's probably a year younger than me. He's insanely talented and his work is super clean, like this. I highly recommend making a reservation with Takuya. He's seriously amazing. I don't really like storing things away. When you put things away and close the doors, it feels like it creates a wall, doesn't it? It makes me feel like the space is being wasted. That's why I've removed the doors from all my dressers. I like to keep everything visible. This is the hangout spot. Originally, I was using this room as my atelier. It's a 6-mat room, and I thought having a bigger space for the atelier would be better. I used to draw here, but having such a big empty space behind me made me feel restless, so I turned it into a living space instead. I was asked to use this artwork for the design of an album for musicians who make Cuban music. Let me see. Ah, here it is. This is the one. This picture was used. Because they make Cuban music, I decided to unify the theme with Cuban birds and dress them in Cuban shirts to match the vibe. This is from an idol group called Bish. I was really into Bish for a while, and this is an illustration where I turned Rinrin and Aina the End into chameleons. And then I painted the picture on top of that. For the clothes I showed earlier, my friend who runs the Epices. Vintage Store, or online shop, painted the background for me. Then I added my own artwork on top of it. I really love sunglasses and end up collecting them all the time. Like these, this pair and the same model in a different color. They're a revival of an Oakley design from the 80s. The rapper Toji often wears them, and when I wear these, people even call me Toji. Shakabozu sometimes even makes me sing Toji's verses. This is a piece by my friend Yutaka, who works at Noah. I received it when we did an exhibition together. It's so cute that I always display it on the shelf above my head. This is the season's poster from a snowboarding brand called Gentim Stick. Isn't the location in this amazing? You can even see the ocean in the background. Gentim Stick is known for making boards that really cool, laid-back people ride, and their posters are always top-notch. And this one, what was it again? Oh, I think it's from Snow Peak. I believe it was some kind of newspaper or flyer from them. I really like this kind of blue. You see, behind this wall is where the door used to be. If you close this up, it just feels like a wall, and it makes the room seem smaller. This room is about 6 mats though. Keeping it open makes it feel a lot bigger. I separate spaces for different tasks, like having this area for working on the computer. The oldest, second, third, and fourth sons. This was this year's New Year's card. The day I wanted to skateboard, it rained. I still wanted to interact with my skateboard, so I decided to draw on it. When I went to the skate park with it, someone saw it and said, "Hey, could you draw on mine too?" They posted it on Instagram, and soon there were comments saying, "I want you to draw something for me." That's how it all started. Things just took off. Then someone who wanted me to draw something asked me to paint their bike. They told me about a bike exhibition happening in Taiwan, so I went there to paint it. This is the origin right here. I mean, this is it. A snowboarding crew run by Ryoki Ogawa and Masato Toda. They create street snowboarding videos, and those are super challenging. You have to scout locations, set up everything, and so on. It's tough, but their videos are incredibly cool. They asked me to create a new logo for cheese, specifically the mouth logo. This is it. This is the new one I painted. I did it using paint. This is it. This is the new one I drew. I painted it using paint, and this is my atelier, my studio. Originally, this piece was mounted on the wall in the other room, like this. I had this big piece displayed up there. But now I work sitting on the floor drawing in this kind of style. I mainly paint pictures of animals using paint. Animals are, how should I say, completely honest. They don't lie. And everything is reflected in their attitude and expressions. But then again, humans are animals too. I feel like that's how we're meant to be at our core. It's not exactly a longing, but there's something incredibly fascinating about animals. People, on the other hand, often try to hide their emotions. Animals, though, are effortlessly cool. They don't need to try. Even birds, you look at them and think, why are you so stylish? And chameleons, they can even change colors. Humans often feel the need to dress up to look good. I guess it's that sense of admiration or fascination that makes me want to draw animals. This is also for a client. It was originally just a plain white board, but I painted it. And this is how it turned out. This one too. The helmet was completely black before I worked on it. When I draw, what do I do exactly? Well, for example, with this piece, I'd stare at it face to face for a long time. Once the image is fully formed in my mind, that's when I'd start drawing. But I realized that with this approach, I couldn't create anything impulsively. This is a painting by Basquiat. I went to a Basquiat exhibition and I ended up getting just this part tattooed, the Made in Japan right here. I thought, well, I'm made in Japan. And the idea of Made in Japan written by Basquiat felt so cool to me that I decided to get it. This is a rough sketch, or more like a concept, that I was working on before OG Cheese was formed. It's done using acrylic paint. This piece is for Masato Toda, the other writer from OG Cheese. I think he's starting his own brand this season. I'm helping him create the logo and other designs, and this is the first piece for that project. The deck, well, there was originally an Engawa veranda of this size, and since I wanted to be able to step outside barefoot, I decided to build this deck. The garden was quite large, so I thought it would be nice to make the deck big as well, extending it here and there. As for the gravel, how many kilos did we lay down? I think it was about 400 kilos. This entire area, including this part, used to be all gravel. We also poured cement here to harden this section. My grandfather was really into this kind of stuff. He used to make all sorts of things out of wood, and I grew up watching him do that. I've been making things since I was young, so I guess this is just an extension of that. We originally used this setup for barbecues and such, but taking it out and putting it away became a hassle. So I built this together with my friends. Now, with this, all I need to do is start a fire and start grilling. Super easy. In the winter, I don't do much out here. but I'll boil some water and enjoy a cup of tea. It's part of our routine, meeting up at my place before snowboarding, having a bonfire at night, and then heading out early the next morning. Oh, this is me. It's me. My second son made this for me. Oh, and here's the wood. This is from the flea market we had. We held a flea market in the garden. Did it about twice. During the pandemic, there weren't really any places where people could meet, right? So during that time, I wanted to create a space where people could gather. And that's how the idea for the flea market came about. Well, I'm thinking about something pretty big. I want to extend the roof here, over this deck. The idea is to extend the roof all the way up to here so that we can still come out and enjoy the space even on rainy days. I also want to add a fence here, a privacy fence. That part will probably be quick to do. But the roof, that's going to be the challenging part. Still, the best thing is being able to invite friends over and hang out as much as we want. I built this space to be a hangout spot, and I'm really happy that it's become exactly that. I think apartment-style spaces have a nice vibe, but having people living right next to you makes you feel like you have to be cautious. I do have a bit of longing for a regular apartment, though. It would be amazing if I could make 100% of my living by painting. My ultimate goal is to live a life where I can truly focus on doing what I love, making it the center of everything I do.